Hello everyone. Welcome to the Crafty Maven. I have a layout for you today. I'm showing you some of the supplies that I pulled to go with the mood board. Yes, I used the mood board and I pulled supplies from it. Isn't that awesome? So a lot of those 6x6 papers that you saw are from Prima. And if they're not from Prima, then they are from Pink Paisley's C'est La Vie collection. I also decided to use a sketch for this particular video today just because I wanted to, and it was Free Flow Wednesday. So that sketch is from the Wild Hair Kits. They generally have a sketch challenge every month, and a lot of times I often just look at them and I'm not really inspired, but I was super inspired by this one. They're always good, they're always fun, but you know what? I only have so much time and I don't often get to just play with the random sketch challenge. So I decided I wanted to do that today. This cut file is a cut file from Paige Evans, and I am just matching up some ink colors because I'm going to ink this cut file up, and I'm going to back it with some paper, and I'm going to add some gilding flakes, and I'm going to add some sequins, and it's going to be a showpiece on this particular layout. I am inking this die cut with a couple different inks. I'm trying to read. I'm sorry if I was like, my voiceover kind of stumbled there because I was trying to read the ink colors. So the tealy color is Ulta New ink, which I believe this is Valencia Lake color. Then the orange and the pinks are a combination of Abandoned Coral and Ripe Persimmon Distress ink. And now we get to the washi. Isn't this washi amazing? As soon as I saw the mood board at Crafty Maven this month, I was like, oh my goodness, it matches my Ulta New washi tape. So if you have not seen this yet, if this is a new product for you, you absolutely must go check it out. So these are washi tapes that Ulta New came out with them, and there's a couple different ones. But this is the polka dot one. And oh my goodness, you guys, it's so awesome. I love these washi tapes. They're like huge and big and thick. And what's so funny is when I got them in the mail, I'm not even kidding you, my husband saw them sitting on my craft desk and he goes, why do you have wallpaper border on your scrap desk? Because that's how thick they are. And that's how they're just, I love, love, love them. I can't say how awesome they are enough. So I decided to use them to cover the entire bottom part of my layout. And then I'm also going to use just a little bit, and I don't want to waste it. So I'm putting it over the scraps from my stenciling. So I stenciled onto this piece of scrap paper, and then I'm putting the extra piece of washi tape over that, and then I'm going to trim it down, and it gives me this nice, like, look how pretty that looks. And then once I trim it down, I just have this nice piece of, like, scrap paper, and I just popped it in with my other little bits and bobs on my desk, and I'm sure it will make its way onto a layout here eventually because it looked so pretty. Look how pretty it looked. I love it. And so yeah, I'm just going to continue on with this layout. So this is an 8.5 by 11 layout. I'm using that sketch from the Wild Hair Kits, which is a 12 by 12 sketch, but the layout is, I'm going to do 8.5 by 11. And I also, of course, altered the sketch and made it my own. And this photo is from 2000, so this photo is almost 18 years old, which means the baby in that photograph is almost 18 years old. And so I want to scrapbook this photo for my oldest son's layout for his album, and I decided that it would be perfect for this layout and these photos. So I have inked up my die cut, I've added my washi tape. Next up, I'm going to add some gilding flakes just to the edges of these leaves. So for me, this is what I do. I have Nuvo gilding flakes in gold, and I just put a little bit of Scotch quick dry adhesive on the leaf tips. I grab some of these larger pieces of gilding flakes, push them into the glue, and then I just walk away and I let it dry completely and thoroughly. And since this is that Scotch tacky glue, it dries fairly quickly. The only thing I do is once I have put the gilding flakes down onto the die cut, I do pick the die cut up so that the die cut doesn't stick to my scrap piece paper. And so there is that gorgeous gilding on all the edges. And now I'm going to take these papers that I had pre-pulled out of my stash, and I'm going to back all of the open spaces on this cut file with these pattern papers. So I'm just flipping the die cut over, I flip the paper over, I kind of stencil or, trace around the area of the die cut that I want to back, fussy cut it out, and then glue it to the back of the die cut. This could not be easier or more tedious to watch. It's like paint drying over here. La 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 la. So I think I did one leaf, and then the rest of it we're just gonna, by the magic of YouTube and videos, I'm not gonna make you watch all of the boringness of me gluing down all these little pieces. While it is boring to watch, it's kind of fun to do. I mean, I like to do it. It's fun to play around with those little die cuts, and I like to make die cuts my own. So it's easy to pop a die cut file into your silhouette and just cut it, but I really enjoy the process of taking that die cut and coloring it and adding the gilding flakes and adding some sequins and just making that die cut beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to do is add the sequins. So my die cut is completely backed. I also fussy cut, since I was fussy cutting, I also fussy cut those two images. They were on one of the 6x6 paper pads, and I felt like the colors would work really well with my photo and the look I was going for on my photo. So I just fussy cut them from the 6x6 paper, and I'm going to use them as elements and embellishments on my page. I'm going to pop this gorgeous die cut up because I did all that work to it, so now we need to make it kind of shine. I'm going to pop it up there with some foam squares, and then I'm just going to tuck my photo underneath. This is so funny. So this is why I like to work with photographs that have been printed at a printer. I love persnickety prints, and I do have a printer. I do kind of print at home sometimes, but you'll see here why I like photographs that have been printed by a processing place that uses the chemicals and processes your photos correctly, digital or not digital, because I had to pull, so I pull and adjust and pull and adjust and pull and adjust this photo so many times, and it had sticky on it. Like, I was trying to tuck it under the flowers, and you'll see here, but I keep, pulling it off of that foam tape that's behind that flower till I have it just the way I want it. And it did not destroy my photo at all. My photo stayed and was lovely. And you cannot do that with photos you print at home. It's like one little stick anything to it, and boom, the ink is off. So that's just my personal photography rant. I do print at home in a jiffy, if I'm in a pinch, but honestly, whenever I print at home, I always know that I have to be super careful with those photos. And I print on a Canon Pixma or a Polaroid Zip. Those are the kind of on-the-go printers that I have. So yeah, that's my little photography rant for the day. You can see here how I'm going to do this. So I start thinking, well, I kind of wanted it to be on an angle. I thought I wanted it to be on an angle, and then I kind of start lifting this up, and I put it on an angle, and then, no, don't like it. But I've already pushed out all the adhesives. And you see here, I'm like, oh, booger. Now I got to pull all those adhesives back up because I'm not really liking it being on an angle. So, and it, again, see, no damage to my photo. So, I think I damaged the die cut a little bit at some point, but we just covered that up and moved on. I'm just going to pop this photo underneath here then, and now it looks good. So, the whole reason I pulled this 6x6 piece of paper from the C'est La Vie 6x6 pad is because I wanted that 4, because my son is 4 months old in this photo, and so I wanted to use that as my title. So I'm going to grab this fussy cut 4, I'm going to back it with some black paper, and then I'm going to go into my letter stash and find some letters to coordinate. So I popped into my stash and I found these black letters. These are from Felicity Jane. They're chipboard letters, which means that when you buy alphabets from Felicity Jane and you buy chipboard alphabets, they're super sticky. So I had to be really careful, lay them down ever so lightly, and get the placement correct, because once I stuck them down, they are sticking. They're not like thickers. They're not like chipboard thickers where you have to like pull them up and add extra adhesive. Oh no, Felicity Jane chipboard thickers are like, or chipboard stickers are, they stick. So I'm going to just add the little abbreviation for months up there. And then I'm going to put the month and the year on the bottom of the photo. And that's going to complete this layout. I think a last little bit I do grab is my bling, my Zotz bling, and just add some of these sequins around the page. I'm trying to see what the name of this sequin mix is. I'm trying really hard. It's called In Your Dreams. So this sequin mix is from Spiegel Mom Scraps, the only place to buy fabulous sequin mixes. And this particular sequin mix is called In Your Dreams. So I'm just going to sprinkle them around to kind of pull in those sequins, and that will complete this layout. Thank you so much for joining me today at the Crafty Maven Getaway. You can find my YouTube channel linked below, and I'd love for you to come and join me on my scrapbooking adventures. Here are some gorgeous close-ups. And I will see you all again soon. Bye!